Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're talking all about AI and how it's going to totally revolutionize the economy like we've never seen before.
Yeah, it really is an exciting time to be working in this field.
I know it's all over the news, but we really wanted to understand the nitty-gritty, right? So we're diving deep into this awesome guide that lays out 10 key ways AI is going to shape the future.
And these impacts are going to be felt everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the first things that this guide talks about is like this huge boost in productivity and efficiency.
Right. And I think that's something we can all wrap our heads around.
Totally. It's basically like AI can automate all those boring, repetitive tasks. Like imagine AI managing inventory in a warehouse or, scheduling all those meetings.
Exactly. Free up humans to do like the more strategic, higher level thinking kind of stuff.
Yeah. And this guide even says AI could potentially manage entire supply chains and predict demand, like super accurately.
It's not just about doing things quicker, though. It's about rethinking the whole process, right? Kind of like how the Industrial Revolution changed everything.
Right. But probably way faster.
Oh, for sure. This is going to be a rapid transformation.
All right. So more efficiency, more productivity. But where it gets really crazy is enhanced innovation and creativity,
Hmm.
right? We're talking about generative AI algorithms that can design stuff, write music, and even brainstorm business ideas.
I know it sounds kind of sci-fi, right?
Totally does. So is this where robots are going to replace artists and,
I don't think so. I see it more as a collaboration.
oh, okay, interesting.
Like picture an architect using AI to generate like tons of different building designs based on like specific needs, or a musician jamming with AI to come up with a melody they would never thought of on their own.
Huh. So it's more about expanding our creative possibilities.
Exactly. AI becomes a partner in the creative process.
That's so cool.
Mm.
All right, so AI is going to make us more efficient, more creative, but what about us, the everyday people? I mean, we already see AI when we get those personalized recommendations online or when we chat with a bot to get our questions answered.
Right. And those are just the tip of the iceberg.
So what else can we expect?
Well, imagine a world where your fridge automatically orders groceries or your car like navigates traffic to get you home faster. And AI could help doctors diagnose patients with way more accuracy.
Wow, so many possibilities.
It's all about using AI to like genuinely improve our lives.
I love it. Okay, but let's be real for a sec. AI needs data to work its magic right.
Who absolute garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly. So this guide talks about data-driven decision making and how AI can help us use all this data we've been collecting in a smart way.
It's like we've had all these ingredients, but we didn't have the recipe.
Yeah.
AI is the recipe that helps us make sense of it all.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So, what are some concrete examples of how AI can help us use data better?
Well, think about optimizing energy use in a city, right?
Right.
AI could analyze data from the power grid and like figure out how to distribute energy more efficiently, reducing waste and saving money.
That's amazing. Or what about using AI to analyze traffic patterns to improve road planning and reduce those rush hour headaches?
Exactly. AI can see the big picture in a way that we just can't on our own.
Okay, all this talk about data
Mm.
makes me think about another important thing, cybersecurity, right?
Right.
I mean, with all this data flying around, how do we keep it safe?
That's where AI becomes super crucial.
Okay, I can see that.
Think about those huge cyber attacks we hear about these days. Humans just can't keep up, but AI can analyze network traffic in real time and spot anything fishy way faster than a human could.
Wow, so it's like having a super powered security system.
Exactly. And as our world gets more and more digital, cybersecurity powered by AI is going to be essential.
Totally makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so AI is helping us stay safe, but it's also accelerating research and development in tons of fields, especially healthcare.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge area where AI has the potential to like revolutionize things.
This guide says AI can help us develop new medicines and treatments way faster and more effectively than ever before.
Imagine AI like sifting through mountains of medical research to find those promising drug candidates or like personalizing treatments based on someone's DNA.
Yeah, that could be a total game changer.
It's about moving away from that one size fits all approach and really tailoring healthcare to each individual.
Wow. I'm already getting excited about the future of medicine, but I got to ask the question that's probably on everyone's mind. What about jobs? Are robots going to take over the world and leave us all unemployed?
I get why people are worried, but it's not that simple.
So what's the real story?
Well, some jobs will definitely be automated, that's for sure. But remember, the Industrial Revolution also displaced a bunch of jobs and we adapted, right?
Right, right.
The key is to be prepared and focus on skills that AI can't replicate, like creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, emotional intelligence. Those are all uniquely human.
And this guide also says there will be a tons of new jobs created in fields like AI development and AI ethics.
Exactly. So it's not about AI versus humans. It's about AI and humans working together.
And hopefully using AI to solve some of those big problems facing the world, like climate change,
Absolutely. This guide talks about AI helping us create more sustainable practices.
which is super important. I can see
Mhm.
AI being used to like optimize energy use, reduce waste, and manage resources way better than we do now.
Yeah, think about designing smarter cities or optimizing transportation systems.
And maybe even like creating new materials that are both sustainable and high performing.
Right. AI can help us find solutions that are good for the planet and good for the economy.
All right, last but not least, this guide talks about AI creating like totally new business models and ways to make money.
Oh, yeah. This is where things get really interesting.
So what kind of businesses are we talking about?
Well, imagine personalized education platforms that adapt to each student's learning style, or healthcare systems that can predict and prevent health problems, or even AI generated entertainment that's totally customized to your taste.
Wow, it sounds like the possibilities are endless.
They really are. This is a time of massive opportunity, especially for entrepreneurs and innovators.
So it seems like we're on the verge of a huge economic shift, and AI is the driving force. What does this mean for like the average person? What should we be doing to get ready for this AI powered future?
That's the big question, right? I think the most important thing is to stay informed, be adaptable, and never stop learning.
I like that.
The jobs of tomorrow might not even exist yet, so we got to be ready to evolve and pick up new skills.
And I think it's important to like keep having these conversations about AI and how we can make sure it's used for good.
Absolutely. We need to be thinking about the ethical implications and shaping the development of AI in a way that benefits everyone.
Couldn't agree more. Well, this has been an awesome deep dive into the world of AI and the economic revolution it's bringing. I want to thank you for joining us and encourage you to keep exploring this fascinating world.
Yeah, stay curious and stay engaged. This is just the beginning.
And who knows, maybe you'll be the one creating the next big AI powered innovation.
The future is full of possibilities.
Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, so get ready because this deep dive, we're going deep into the uncanny valley with this one. It's all about AI face swapping. I mean, think about it. Have you seen that viral video of that politician where they're like endorsing their opponent? Or that app that like lets you swap faces with celebrities and GIFs? That's AI face swapping. And we've gotten a bunch of articles from you guys on this, and it seems like you really want to get a grip on this tech, its potential, and of course, all the ethical red flags everyone keeps bringing up.
For sure.
So we're diving deep today into excerpts from AI face swapping, ethics, apps, and responsible use to like really break this all down.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how this tech has evolved from just like these niche experiments to something that like anyone can use. Well, it used to be something that you needed like these huge computers for, or like a whole special effects studio is now literally in the palm of your hand.
Right. That's what's so interesting and also kind of unsettling about it. But before we get into like all the implications, let's rewind a bit. So your excerpts talk about two main techniques that make this all work: GNs and CNNs. Can you give us like a crash course on that?
Okay, so think of it like a creative rivalry. GANs, which stands for generative adversarial networks, work by like pitting two AI networks against each other. One of them, the generator, it creates images, and the other one, the discriminator, it judges them. The generator is always trying to fool the discriminator into thinking its creations are like the real deal. And through this constant back and forth, they both just get better and better.
So it's like one AI is like forging these masterpieces and the other one is like the super picky art critic. So then how do CNNs fit into this whole like artistic battle?
Yeah. So CNNs or convolutional neural networks, they're the detail-oriented guys in all this. They analyze images, especially faces, and they identify and like map all the little features that make your face unique.
Right.
It's like having an AI detective that's making sure your face swap looks natural and not like some kind of, distorted, creepy mashup.
Okay, so I'm picturing like this really meticulous forensic artist working with our AI forger and art critic. But what's really mind blowing is that these networks actually learn and improve. It's not just some static program, right?
Exactly. The more data you train them on, the better they get at it. It's like imagine like a portrait artist who's practicing on thousands or even millions of faces.
Mm.
That's how these systems get so good at creating like these crazy, realistic, seamless face swaps.
So we've got the theory down, but where can you actually see this tech in action?
Well, I mean, look no further than your phone's app store. Reface, for example, lets you swap faces in GIFs and videos, and it's become like super popular, partially because it's easy to use, but also because it's just really entertaining.
Yeah, Reface has definitely created some seriously hilarious content, and sometimes it's a little unsettling how realistic it is. But our source also mentions Wombo, which has more of a musical approach.
Right, so Wombo lets you animate faces to sing along with popular songs.
Yeah.
It's a more lighthearted way to use the tech, and it really shows the fun creative potential of AI face swapping.
From Elvis to opera, there are some pretty funny Wombo creations out there. I think it shows that it's not really the tech itself that's good or bad, it's all about how it's used. And that brings us to another app that the source mentions, Deepface Lab.
Oh yeah, Deep Face Lab is where things get really interesting and potentially a little more ethically murky. It's an open source tool, which means anyone who knows a little bit about tech can use it. And that accessibility brings a whole new set of challenges and questions about responsible use.
It definitely seems like we're moving into like a much more ethically complex area. Speaking of which, your source highlights some kind of alarming possibilities with this technology. I think it's time to dive into those concerns because it's not all fun and games with, face swapping Elvis.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's important to acknowledge that with this level of realism and accessibility,
Hmm.
the potential for misuse grows exponentially. And unfortunately, we've already seen some cases where this technology has been used for really malicious purposes.
One of the most disturbing examples that's in the source is the use of deepfakes in non-consensual pornography. The idea of someone creating and sharing explicit content using your face without your consent it's just chilling.
Oh yeah, it's a violation on so many levels:
Right.
privacy, consent, dignity, and the potential psychological damage for the victims can be absolutely devastating. It's a good reminder that technological advancements don't always come with good intentions. There's always a dark side to consider.
Yeah.
You know,
And it's scary how easy it seems like this technology can be used as like a weapon. But the source also talks about like the spread of misinformation and manipulation as a major concern. I mean, we've all seen those fake videos going around online, but with deepfakes, it's getting harder and harder to tell what's real and what's not.
oh, absolutely. It's like that whole fake news thing we've been dealing with, but on steroids. Like, imagine a deep fake video of, let's say, a world leader declaring war or a CEO saying something really inflammatory. It could have huge consequences, for international relations or financial markets or even public safety.
Yeah, it's like we're getting to a point where seeing isn't believing anymore. It really shows how important it is to be media literate, to think critically, and to just have a healthy dose of skepticism when you're looking at stuff online.
I totally agree. We need to be more discerning, question what we see and check information from multiple sources before we just believe it.
The source also brings up the potential for damage to someone's reputation and trust both personally and professionally. It's not just about politicians or celebrities being targeted. Anyone could be a victim of a malicious deepfake.
Right, like imagine a deep fake video of you saying or doing something that could put your job at risk or damage your relationships or ruin your reputation in your community. It's a scary thought, and it shows how this can cause real harm that goes way beyond the internet.
It's like a digital scarlet letter that you just can't get rid of. This is all pretty doom and gloom. So, are there any like bright spots here? I mean, the source does mention some potential positive uses for this technology.
Yeah, there are definitely some, and I think it's important to talk about those too. For example, think about the potential in the entertainment industry. I mean, we're already seeing things like de-aging actors in movies, but with how fast AI face swapping is improving, the possibilities for creating immersive and engaging experiences are pretty much endless.
Yeah, I was reading about how deepfakes could totally revolutionize video games and VR.
Mhm.
Like, imagine being able to actually step into the shoes of your favorite character or create your own unique avatar that looks totally real.
It's about pushing the boundaries of storytelling and blurring the lines between reality and fantasy in ways that we couldn't even dream of before. And it's not just limited to entertainment either. AI face swapping could also make the digital world more accessible and inclusive.
Yeah, the source mentioned personalized avatars for people with disabilities, which I thought was really interesting.
It's a really cool concept. Like, imagine someone who has limited mobility being able to control a digital avatar that lets them interact with the world in ways they couldn't physically, or someone who's lost their voice using an avatar that can speak for them. It opens up all these new possibilities for self-expression and connection.
It's a good reminder that even technologies that have some negative aspects can also be used for good and can empower people and make things more inclusive.
Exactly. But it's super important that we approach these advancements with both excitement and caution. We need to really think about the ethical implications and the potential unintended consequences.
So we've talked about entertainment and accessibility. What about education? The source mentions that too.
Well, yeah, like imagine history classes where students can actually talk to virtual versions of historical figures, ask them questions, and have conversations. Or what about simulations where students can experience different scenarios and make choices in a safe environment where they can learn from their mistakes without any real-world consequences?
It's like bringing history to life, or even getting a peek into possible futures. But even with these positive applications, we still need to be aware of the ethical considerations, right?
Absolutely. For instance, who gets to decide which historical figures are represented and how? How do we make sure that these representations are accurate and unbiased, and that they don't reinforce harmful stereotypes or historical inaccuracies? It's a complicated issue that requires a lot of thought and collaboration between educators, historians, and tech people.
It's a good point. It reminds us that technology is just a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. The key is to use it responsibly and thoughtfully, knowing how it can impact individuals and society as a whole. Yeah, it seems like finding that balance is going to be the biggest challenge with this tech. On the one hand, we want to see all the cool stuff that can be done with AI face swapping, but we also have to think about how to protect people from harm and stop it from being used in the wrong way.
It's like walking a tightrope, for sure. And I think it'll take a lot of different approaches, like new technology ethical guidelines and a real shift in how people think about this.
So, what can we actually do? Where do we even start with all these challenges?
Well, I think one crucial thing is to move beyond just the technical side of AI. We need to start thinking about ethics at every step of the way, from the very beginning when we're designing it, all the way to how it's used in the real world.
So, it's not just about making the fanciest algorithms, it's also about asking ourselves the tough questions like, should we even be doing this? And how can we do it in a way that doesn't hurt anyone?
Exactly. We need to think about the potential impact on society and build in safeguards to prevent harm. It's kind of like building a car with safety features in mind. You don't wait for accidents to happen before you start thinking about safety.
The source talked a lot about the importance of consent, transparency, and good taste when using this technology. But I'm wondering, are those guidelines enough? Or do we need stricter rules, especially given all the potential for misuse that we've talked about?
Those guidelines are a good place to start, but they might not be enough on their own. I think we need some clear laws that address the specific problems that come with AI face swapping, especially when it comes to things like non-consensual pornography and spreading fake information. It's about finding that sweet spot between letting innovation happen and protecting people's rights.
It's a tricky issue for sure, but it sounds like having open conversations and working together are really important.
Absolutely. We need people from all sorts of fields, ethicists, lawyers, tech experts, and
Oh,
policymakers all working together to create a system where new ideas can thrive,
yeah.
but within ethical boundaries. It's not about stopping creativity. It's about making sure it's used to benefit everyone.
So, what about everyday people? What can our listeners and other individuals do to be a part of this conversation? It can feel kind of overwhelming, like these big, complex issues are out of our hands.
The biggest thing is to just stay informed and engaged. Read about AI, try to understand what it can do, and be aware of the risks. Talk about it with others, challenge assumptions, and demand accountability from the people who are developing and using these technologies.
It's about realizing that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI. Our choices, our voices, our actions, they all matter.
We all have a responsibility to make sure this technology is used to make things better for everyone. And it all starts with awareness and action.
This deep dive has been really eye-opening. AI face swapping, it's clearly a lot more than just a fun filter. It's powerful technology with a lot of potential for both good and bad.
It's making us rethink some pretty basic things like identity truth and even what's real in a digital world. It's a conversation that's only just beginning, and it's one we need to have openly and honestly.
You've learned about how it works, the ethical problems it brings up, and how it could change different parts of our lives. But as we wrap up this deep dive, here's something to think about. What if, instead of being afraid of how it could be misused, we focused on using its power for good? Imagine what we could do if we used AI face swapping to promote empathy, understanding, and connections between different cultures and communities.
That's a pretty amazing vision. It reminds us that the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we build together through our choices, our actions, and our commitment to shaping technology in a way that reflects our values and our hopes for a better world.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI face swapping. We hope you found it informative and thought provoking. And remember, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those questions coming. Until next time, this is the deep dive signing off. Welcome to this deep dive into generative AI.
Yeah.
It's already changing the game for businesses, and we're going to unpack exactly how you sent over a research paper on the various types of generative AI, some pretty mind-blowing articles about companies using it, and even an outline of an online course on this stuff.
Yeah, it's a fascinating field and it's evolving so rapidly. What's really interesting is that we're moving beyond AI that just analyzes data. Generative AI actually creates new content, text, images, even code.
It's kind of like, remember that scene in Star Trek where they just ask the computer to create a tea Earl Grey hot?
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
We're getting closer to that kind of on-demand creation, except instead of T, we're talking about marketing campaigns, product designs, or even lines of code.
Exactly. So you're telling me real companies are actually using this?
Absolutely. One of your articles talks about how Walmart is using it to personalize the shopping experience for each customer, recommending products and even suggesting recipes based on what's in their online cart.
Wow, that's smart. So it's not just about creating cool images or writing catchy slogans. It's about understanding what the customer wants and delivering it in a way that feels personalized.
Precisely, and that's just one example. Another article highlights how Toyota is leveraging generative AI in car design. They're using it to explore different aerodynamic shapes and optimize fuel efficiency.
Hold on, AI is designing cars now.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
It's helping human engineers explore a much wider range of design possibilities than they could on their own. Generative AI can come up with thousands of variations, and then the engineers can pick the best ones and refine them further.
So it's not about replacing humans, it's about giving them superpowers.
I like that way of putting it. Generative AI is a tool that augments human creativity and problem solving.
Okay, so we've established that this isn't just some futuristic fantasy. Generative AI is here. It's being used by major companies and it's having a real impact.
Yeah,
But what about the average person? What does this mean for someone like me or, for you, the listener?
that's where it gets really exciting. Generative AI is opening up new possibilities for everyone. Imagine being able to generate a custom image for your website, write a personalized email campaign, or even create a prototype for a new product idea, all with the help of AI.
Okay, now you're speaking my language, but let's back up a bit. We've been throwing around the term generative AI, but I think it's worth defining it clearly for anyone who's still catching up.
You're right. At its core, generative AI is about machines creating new content, not just processing existing data. It's about going from analysis to creation.
So instead of just recognizing patterns in data, generative AI can actually use those patterns to create something entirely new.
Exactly. And then something new could be anything from a piece of text to an image, a music track, or even a 3D model.
Okay, that's starting to click.
Yeah.
But how does it actually work? I mean, how can a machine be creative?
That's a great question. And it leads us into the different types of generative AI. Your research paper mentions a few key categories like text generation, image generation, and even other modalities like audio and video.
All right, let's dive into this text generation. I'm guessing that's where things like ChatGPT come in.
You got ChatGPT is a prime example of text generation. It's built on a type of model called a transformer, which is trained on a massive amount of text data.
So it's basically learned how to write by reading everything on the internet.
That's a simplified way to put it.
Yeah.
But essentially, yes, it's learned patterns in language and can use those patterns to generate new text that is often surprisingly coherent and creative.
That's both impressive and a little scary, to be honest. But okay, let's move on to image generation. I've heard of tools like Daily 2 and Midjourney. Are those also based on these transformer models?
Daily 2 does use a transformer architecture, but it's been adapted to work with images. It's trained on pairs of images and text descriptions, so it learns to associate visual concepts with words.
So if I type in a cat wearing a top hat riding a unicycle, Daily 2 could actually generate an image of that.
Exactly. And the results can be incredibly realistic and imaginative. Midjourney works in a similar way, but it often produces more artistic or abstract results.
This is blowing my mind. It seems like the creative possibilities are endless, but I'm curious, what about the other modalities mentioned in the research paper you mentioned, audio and video? Is AI generating those too?
It is. There are models that can generate music sound effects, and even realistic speech and video generation is rapidly advancing as well. You mentioned Google's VioGen AI earlier. That's a great example of how AI is pushing the boundaries of what's possible in video creation.
Wow. So basically, any type of content you can think of, AI can probably generate a version of it. It's kind of making my head spin a little bit.
It is a lot to take in, and it's important to remember that this is still a relatively new field. What we're seeing today is just the tip of the iceberg.
That's what's both exciting and a little daunting, right? It feels like we're on the cusp of something huge, but it's hard to know exactly where it's all going.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to stay informed and to learn how to use these tools effectively.
Yeah.
You included an outline of an online course on generative AI for business. I think that's a fantastic resource for anyone looking to get up to speed.
Yes. This course seems like a great starting point for anyone who wants to learn the practical applications of generative AI. Let's take a closer look at what it covers the first module. Seems pretty foundational, talking about what generative AI is and the different types.
It's essential to build that solid foundation, and I think it's smart that the course starts by addressing different types of generative AI. Understanding the various models and their capabilities is crucial for figuring out how you might use them in your own work or business.
Right, it's like learning the different tools in a toolbox before you start building something, then Module 2 jumps into text generation.
It makes sense to dive into text generation early on since it's one of the most mature areas of generative AI. The course mentions covering tools like ChatGPT, which we've already talked about, but I'm sure they go much deeper into the specifics of using those tools effectively.
Exactly. It's not just about knowing what the tool is, it's about learning how to actually wield it from there. It looks like Module 3 explores image generation.
Image generation is such a fascinating field. The course outline mentions DELI 2, which, as we discussed, can create some incredibly realistic and fantastical images. I'm sure they'll dive into the nuts and bolts of using it, as well as explore other image generation tools out there.
It looks like the next two modules really focus on the business applications, which is what I'm most interested in. Module 4 is all about using generative AI for marketing and sales.
That's where a lot of the immediate value lies, right?
Mhm.
Imagine being able to personalize your marketing messages at scale or create highly targeted advertising campaigns using AI. The potential impact on sales and customer engagement is huge.
Totally. And then Module 5 broadens things out, looking at how to apply generative AI across different business functions.
That's key because the applications of generative AI go far beyond just marketing and sales. It can be used to streamline operations, optimize workflows, and even develop innovative new products and services.
It really feels like this course provides a solid roadmap for anyone looking to integrate generative AI into their work, regardless of their industry or specific role.
Yeah, it's like a crash course on the future of business. And what I appreciate is that it doesn't shy away from the practical considerations.
Yeah.
It's not just about the cool tech, it's about how you actually use it to solve real world problems and create value.
Okay, so let's say someone takes this course, learns all the tools and techniques. What kind of concrete things could they actually do with this knowledge? Give me some
Right.
examples.
Well, imagine you're a marketing manager for a clothing company. You could use generative AI to create personalized style guides for your customers,
Huh.
recommend outfits based on their preferences and purchase history, or even design custom clothing patterns based on their input.
Okay, that's pretty cool. What about someone in a more technical role?
Let's say you're a software developer. You could use generative AI to help you write code faster and more efficiently, generate documentation automatically, or even create prototypes for new features.
So it's not just about creatives and marketers, it has implications for pretty much every industry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Think about healthcare education, finance, manufacturing. Generative AI is already having an impact across the board.
It's almost like the possibilities are too vast to even comprehend right now. It's exciting and a little overwhelming at the same time.
Yeah, that's the nature of disruptive innovation. It changes the game so quickly that it takes time to fully grasp the implications. But that's also what makes it so thrilling. We're living through a technological revolution, and it's up to us to shape how it unfolds.
Okay, so big picture time. What does the future hold for generative AI?
That's the million-dollar question we already touched on. Some of the latest trends, things like GPT 4.5 with its improved emotional intelligence, Amazon's Nova model for complex problem solving, and Google's VioGen AI for advanced video generation. These are just glimpses into what's coming.
It seems like things are accelerating at an incredible pace. What do you think will be the biggest impact of generative AI in the next few years?
I think we'll see a shift in how we think about creativity and work. Generative AI will become a collaborative partner, helping us to push the boundaries of what's possible in art, design, science, and pretty much every other field.
So it's not about AI replacing humans, it's about AI augmenting human capabilities.
Exactly. It's about humans and machines working together to achieve things that neither could do alone.
That's a much more optimistic and exciting vision of the future than the dystopian scenarios we often hear about.
I agree. I think we have a lot to be hopeful for. Generative AI has the potential to solve some of the world's most pressing problems, from climate change to healthcare to education.
Okay, I'm officially feeling inspired. So, For our listener who's been on this deep dive with us, what's the one key takeaway you want them to walk away with?
I think the most important thing is to be curious and to stay open to the possibilities. Generative AI is a powerful tool, and the more you learn about it, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this rapidly evolving landscape.
So don't be afraid to experiment, explore the resources we've discussed, and see how you can use generative AI to make a difference in your own work and life.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, keep exploring the amazing world of generative AI. Welcome to our deep dive into the world of AI. You've sent us a ton of information about AI education and career paths, everything from university rankings and online courses to those buzzy platforms like ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. And well, we're here to help you sort through all of it and find, the nuggets that are most relevant to you. So
Yeah, it's clear you're not just curious about AI, but also how you can be a part of it. This field that's changing so rapidly.
And that's exactly what we're going to do today. So
Right.
get ready because we've uncovered some really fascinating insights about the job market, what skills you'll actually need, and even some of those potential downsides to AI. But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's take a step back and start with just a quick overview of the AI landscape just to make sure we're all on the same page, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So imagine you're teaching a computer to learn from data. That's basically what machine learning is. Like showing a kid a million pictures of birds until they can point out a bird in any photo,
Yeah.
even one they've never seen before.
So it's about recognizing patterns then. But what about deep learning? I always hear that term thrown around too. Is it just like a fancier version of machine learning?
It is. It's more complex.
Yeah.
Deep learning uses something called neural networks, which are inspired by the human brain. And these networks can analyze even more complex data, which is why you see those AI image generators creating such realistic pictures. They've basically learned from a massive visual library.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. But AI isn't just about images, right? What about all those chatbots and language translation tools we use? Is that a different kind of AI?
Exactly. That's where natural language processing, or NLP, comes in. NLP focuses on how computers can understand and communicate with us using language.
Yeah.
So think virtual assistants like Siri or Alexa.
Hmm.
They use NLP to figure out what you're saying and respond in a way that makes sense to us humans.
Okay, so we've got computers learning from pictures, understanding language. What about actually interacting with the physical world? That's got to be where robotics comes in, right?
Yet, robotics is where AI meets engineering. So instead of just following pre-programmed instructions, AI gives robots the ability to learn, adapt to make decisions on their own.
So we've got machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing, and robotics. It's like they're the core building blocks of this AI world.
They really are. And what's so cool is that these aren't just concepts anymore. They're powering real-world applications that you use every day, from recommendations on Spotify to spam filters blocking those annoying emails. AI is kind of working behind the scenes all the time.
It really is. Okay, so now that we have that basic understanding of AI and those core areas, let's talk about where you can actually learn this stuff. If you're thinking about that more traditional path, there are some pretty amazing university programs dedicated to AI.
There are. And while rankings can be helpful, I think it's more about looking at what makes each program unique. What sets it apart. If you're someone who really thrives in a hands-on environment, for example, a university with a strong research focus like MIT might be the perfect fit.
Right, because MIT is all about pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely. But if you're more drawn to, the business side of AI, a program with strong ties to the startup world like Stanford might be a better fit.
So it's about finding that right ecosystem for your goals. That makes a lot of sense. Now, what about programs that focus on AI ethics? I know that's becoming a really big concern these days.
Absolutely. Cornell has a strong emphasis on AI ethics. So their students are not just learning how to build algorithms, but also how to consider the societal impact of the technology they're creating.
That's great to hear. It shows how people are starting to realize the importance of using AI responsibly, not just for the sake of innovation. Now, I know not everyone wants to go that traditional university route. So, what about online learning? How does that fit into the picture?
Online learning is huge in the AI world. Platforms like edX and Coursera offer courses from top universities. So anyone with an internet connection can access some amazing education.
And it's not just recorded lectures, right? These courses have interactive elements and even online communities where you can connect with other students.
Yeah, you're right. And then we've also got AI-powered learning platforms like WorkRamp and 360 Learning. These platforms use AI to personalize the learning experience. They adapt to your individual needs and progress as you go.
So it's like having a personal AI tutor.
Right.
guiding you through all the material.
Exactly. It's making learning more engaging and efficient. And if you prefer a more structured approach, Data Camp is another great option. They offer these step-by-step programs designed specifically for AI beginners.
Okay, so we've talked about university programs, online learning platforms, and even those personalized options. But eventually, you've got to start using the actual AI tools and platforms, right? I
Yeah.
mean, that's where the real magic
Oh,
happens.
yeah, totally. And luckily, there are tons of options out there. One of the most comprehensive is Google Cloud Vertex AI. It gives you access to Google's entire tool set, including their groundbreaking Gemini models.
I've heard so much about Gemini. What makes it so special? Everyone seems to be talking about it.
It's Google's newest family of AI models, and they're designed to be incredibly versatile. So you can use them for everything from generating text and code to analyzing images and videos.
So it's like a one-stop shop for all your AI needs. Wow. But what about people who prefer those open source tools? Is there something for them too?
Absolutely. TensorFlow is perfect for that. It's an open source framework, actually also developed by Google, but it's known for its flexibility and power. You
Yeah.
can really customize it.
So Vertex AI is more of that all-in-one solution, and TensorFlow is for those who like to tinker and have more control.
That's a good way to put it. And then there's Dataiku, which focuses on helping people use open source models for specific tasks. They make it easier for people who aren't experts to tap into the power of AI.
I like that. So it seems like there's a platform for every skill level and interest out there. What about those who work primarily in the Microsoft ecosystem?
Oh, yeah. In that case, Microsoft Azure AI is a natural choice. It integrates really well with their other Azure services, and it's got those enterprise-grade features. And if you're interested in virtual assistants or AI governance tools, IBM watsonx is another platform worth checking out.
So many choices. It's amazing how these platforms are making AI more accessible to everyone, whether you're an individual or a huge company.
It really is a game changer.
Yeah.
But the tools are just one part of the equation. You also need to understand how to use them effectively to solve real problems.
Right. So now that we've covered those basics of the AI landscape and how to actually learn about it, let's talk about those career opportunities because it seems like that's what you're most curious about.
Exactly. Let's do it. I think a lot of people wonder if a career in AI is only for the hardcore programmers and, those data scientists. Is that true?
Not at all. There are so many different career paths in AI, and it's so much more than just coding. You have those classic roles like AML engineer and data scientist, of course, but there's a whole spectrum beyond that. So, like, what kind of jobs are we talking about for someone who isn't necessarily a coding whiz?
Well, there's huge demand for AI research scientists. The people pushing the boundaries of AI, developing new algorithms and techniques.
Yeah,
And if you're fascinated by AI in the physical world, robotics engineering is booming right now.
that makes sense. With robots getting more sophisticated, we definitely need people who can design, build, and program them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And computer vision is another really hot area. Computer vision engineers are working on everything from self-driving cars to facial recognition.
That sounds fascinating. What about for people who are passionate about language and communication? Where do they fit in?
NLP engineers are the rock stars in that domain. They're building those chatbots and translation tools and all sorts of systems that interact with human language. And for the more business-minded folks, AI product managers are bridging the gap between the tech teams and the business side, making sure those AI products are actually useful and meet real-world needs.
Wow, so we've got engineers, scientists, even product managers. What about those ethical concerns surrounding AI? I bet there's a growing need for people who can address those too.
You're right. AI ethics officers are becoming increasingly important. They're the guardians of responsible AI development, making sure that AI is being used ethically and for the benefit of society.
That's really encouraging to hear. It seems like there really is a place for everyone in the AI world, regardless of your background or the specific technical skills you have.
Absolutely. And this is just the beginning. As AI continues to evolve, we'll see even more specialized roles emerge, creating opportunities we can't even imagine yet.
So let's talk about what you actually need to learn to be successful in this field. What are those essential skills and knowledge that will set you apart?
Well, math is definitely a foundation. We're talking linear algebra, calculus, probability statistics. They might sound a bit intimidating, but they're the building blocks of all those AI algorithms.
I bet some of our listeners are groaning right now. But seriously, why are those specific areas of math so important?
Think of it this way. Linear algebra helps us understand how data is structured and transformed, which is essential for many AI algorithms. Calculus, on the other hand, is all about change and optimization, how we train AI models to get better and better at what they do.
Okay, so math is a must have. What else?
Programming, of course, Python is by far the most popular choice these days. It's relatively easy to learn, very versatile, and there are tons of libraries. specifically for AI tasks. But you might also encounter R or Java, depending on what you're working on.
Math programming, check and check. Anything else we should add to our AI starter kit?
Understanding algorithms and data structures is super important. Think of algorithms like the recipes for how to solve specific problems, and data structures are how we organize information efficiently. So if you're building a recommendation system, you need to know how to write the instructions and organize the ingredients for your AI recipe.
So basically, you need to know how to write the instructions and organize the ingredients for your AI recipe. I like that analogy.
Exactly. And don't forget data handling skills. AI models are only as good as the data you feed them. So knowing how to clean, organize, and prepare data is crucial.
Garbage in, garbage out. Right. Okay, so far we've got math programming, algorithms, data structures, data handling. Anything else we should add to that list?
Beyond those technical skills, domain knowledge is crucial. It's all about understanding the specific field you're applying AI to. So if you're working on AI in healthcare, you need to understand medical terminology and how that industry works.
It's not just about knowing how to code, it's about understanding the context, too.
Right. Exactly. AI isn't just about building cool tech. It's about solving real-world problems. And to do that effectively, you need to understand the ins and outs of that particular problem you're tackling.
It's really a blend of that technical expertise and domain knowledge.
Precisely. But there's one more crucial piece of the puzzle. Those soft skills, things like communication, collaboration, problem-solving AI, isn't just about machines. It's about humans working with machines to solve problems.
People always underestimate those soft skills, but you're right, they're absolutely crucial, especially in a field like AI that's all about collaboration.
Absolutely. It's the combination of technical expertise, domain knowledge, and those soft skills that make someone truly successful in AI.
So it's a holistic package. And one more thing to add, practical experience, right? You can't just read about AI. You have to get your hands dirty and actually build something.
You got it. That's how you really learn and solidify your understanding. Start working on personal projects, participate in coding challenges, contribute to open source AI projects. The more you actually use those tools, the more confident you'll become.
It's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get. Now let's go back to something we mentioned earlier, that impact of AI on the job market. Remember that stat about how AI might displace millions of jobs?
Yeah, the World Economic Forum predicted that by the end of 2025, AI could displace 85 million jobs. But here's the thing. It's also predicted to create 97 million new ones.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about job losses, it's more like a shift in the types of jobs that will be in demand.
Exactly. AI is both disrupting and creating opportunities. Some professions will be transformed, while new ones will emerge that we haven't even thought of yet. That's why understanding AI isn't just about job security. It's about thriving in a world where AI is becoming more and more integral to how we live and work.
So it's not necessarily all doom and gloom, but more like a call to action to adapt and upskill. What about the companies that are already hiring for AI positions?
The demand is everywhere, and it's not just those big tech companies. We're seeing companies like Roku, Yahoo Thermo Fisher, Scientific Evizu, the U.S. Postal Service, and CVS Health, all actively looking for people with AI skills.
That's encouraging. It shows that this need for AI talent is spreading across industries.
Absolutely. So if you're thinking about diving into the world of AI, there's no better time than now.
Well, I think that's a great place to take a break. Let's come back in the next part to talk a little bit more about the bigger picture of AI and what it all means for us as humans living in this rapidly changing world.
Sounds good to me.
All right, we'll be right back after a short break. It's amazing to see how AI is already changing so many aspects of our lives.
It really is. And, it's not just about, fancy gadgets or self-driving cars. AI has this potential to, revolutionize everything. Healthcare, education, transportation, entertainment, pretty much every part of the human experience.
Yeah, and we're already seeing those glimpses of it, right? Like AI is being used to develop new drugs, to personalize learning experiences,
Yeah.
even to compose music. It's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. And this is just the beginning. As AI technology keeps advancing, we're going to see even more transformative applications emerge. It's going to change how we live and work and interact with the world around us in ways we can't even fully grasp yet.
So understanding AI isn't just about getting a job. It's about becoming like an informed citizen in this world that's becoming more and more AI driven.
Exactly. It's about being able to think critically about the potential benefits and risks of AI and, to have those meaningful conversations about its implications. AI is a powerful tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Yeah, that's a powerful thought. It's not just about learning to code or build algorithms. It's about understanding the broader impact of this technology on society as a whole.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to approach AI education with a sense of curiosity, critical thinking, and a willingness to engage with different perspectives.
I love that. It's not just about mastering the technical skills, but also about cultivating the right mindset and values to harness AI for good.
Precisely.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, AI is a tool. And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill. It's up to us as informed citizens and ethical practitioners to shape its future in a way that benefits humanity as a whole.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've explored what AI actually is delved into, the exciting world of education and career paths, and even touched on those broader societal implications of this transformative technology.
Yeah, we've definitely covered a lot. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Yes, please. Give us something to ponder as we continue on our AI journey.
Now that you've seen the incredible potential of AI, the different applications, the vast opportunities it offers, I want you to ask yourself this. What problem are you inspired to solve with this powerful technology?
Oh, I like that. What problem are you inspired to solve? It's not just about understanding AI, it's about using it to make a positive impact on the world.
Exactly. So as you continue exploring this fascinating field, keep that question in mind. Because with the right knowledge skills and a bit of inspiration, you have the power to shape the future of AI and truly make a difference.
That's a perfect note to end on. We've given you the tools, the insights, and hopefully a spark of inspiration. Now it's your turn to dive in and explore the incredible world of AI.
And remember, you don't have to do it alone. There's a whole community of AI enthusiasts, experts, and learners out there who are eager to share their knowledge and support each other.
So go forth, connect with others, keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one developing the next groundbreaking AI application that changes the world.
We can't wait to see what you create.
All right, now let's shift gears a bit and talk about how to stay ahead of the curve in this fast paced world of AI. Because let's be real, it's evolving at lightning speed. We've talked about, the skills you need, those amazing AI platforms that are out there, and even the big picture of how AI is impacting society. But now let's get practical. How do you actually keep up with this field? It's like changing every single day.
Right. Yeah, it moves so fast. It can definitely feel overwhelming. But I think instead of trying to chase every trend, the key is to really embrace this idea of continuous learning. Like it's your superpower.
So it's not about, staying ahead. It's more about building that habit of always learning and adapting to whatever comes next.
Exactly. It's about staying curious and informed
Yeah.
and being open to and experimenting with new tools and new techniques as they come out.
That sounds great, but where do you even start? There's just so much information out there. How do you filter out all the noise and find those resources that are actually valuable?
Yeah, that's a real challenge. One approach is to really focus on those areas of AI that you're most interested in. If you're fascinated by natural language processing, for example, you can dive deep into NLP blogs, podcasts, online communities. There's so much out there.
So instead of trying to keep up with everything in AI, you're creating your own personalized learning path based on what you're most passionate about.
Right. It's about actively seeking out the knowledge that's going to be most relevant to you and your goals.
I love that. More focused, less overwhelming.
Mm.
Now, what about connecting with other people in the AI world? Is that important too?
Oh, absolutely. Networking is huge in AI. It gives you a chance to learn from other people's experiences, get different perspectives, collaborate on projects. It really opens up a lot of doors.
So, where do you go to meet all these AI experts and enthusiasts? Where do they hang out?
Online communities are fantastic for that.
Mm.
Places like LinkedIn and Twitter, Reddit, too. They all have really vibrant AI groups where you can connect with people from all over the world.
So, you can ask questions, share insights, even find people to work on projects with.
Exactly. And conferences and workshops are great too. They offer a more immersive experience where you can hear from those leading experts, participate in hands-on workshops, and just network with other people who are passionate about AI.
It sounds like you're describing this whole AI ecosystem to support your learning journey.
You could say that. You've got online resources to keep you informed and those human connections to, inspire and motivate you along the way.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm really struck by how much ground we've covered. I mean, we started with the very basics of AI, explored all those different learning paths, dove into those ethical considerations. And of course, we can't forget about those incredible career opportunities AI is creating.
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah.
And I think what's really exciting is that AI is not just for tech whizzes. There's a place for everyone with the right skills and that eagerness to learn.
Absolutely. So, to our listeners out there, don't be afraid to explore the world of AI. Find what sparks your curiosity and just go for it.
And remember, you're not alone. There's a whole community of learners, experts, and enthusiasts who are ready to support you every step of the way.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We hope you found it informative, inspiring, and maybe even a little bit life-changing.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep pushing those boundaries of what's possible with AI. Okay, so imagine this. You're driving along and this awesome song pops into your head
Yeah.
and you want to hear it right now, like with all the instruments and even vocals.
Wow.
Well, guess what? That's what Suno AI is doing.
Hmm.
And this company is valued at like $500 million.
Really?
But here's the thing. There's catch. They're being sued over how their AI learns music. It's like
Right.
a total clash between AI music and big tech, and it's all because of Suno's partnership with Amazon's new Alexa Plus.
That's right.
So today we're going to do a deep dive into this whole situation.
Yeah, we're gonna really break it down. So,
Yeah.
what I find really fascinating about this whole thing is that Suno's technology is really impressive.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about like simple little melodies here. The article talks about how it can make really complex songs in like all sorts of different genres,
Right.
and it can even kind of copy the styles of like famous musicians.
It's almost like too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like you could tell Alexa, I want a reggae song about a robot falling in love. And boom, you got your custom track ready to go.
Exactly.
But how does this even work? It's like, is there an AI hiding in a studio somewhere making this music?
Well, not exactly, but it's almost that wild.
Okay.
So basically, Suno's AI uses what's called a generative model. You're probably already familiar with how these AI models are trained on tons of data, but in this case, we're talking about feeding it a huge library of music.
Uh-huh.
It looks at everything, the melodies, the harmonies, the rhythms, even the emotions in the music. Like,
Mhm.
it's breaking down the DNA of thousands of songs.
Oh, wow.
And then when you give it some instructions, it uses all that knowledge to make something new based on what it's learned.
So it's not just copying pieces of other songs.
No.
It's actually making something original.
Exactly. It's creating something new, but based on everything it's learned from all those other songs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And, I know a little bit about these different models,
Right.
but what are they using here?
Yeah.
Like, are they Jans or Transformers?
Yeah, those are the most likely candidates here.
Right.
JANs are those generative adversarial networks. Right.
And then Transformers. Those are both really good at picking up on all the little details in music
Yeah.
and then making something new that sounds really good.
Yeah.
And the computers that they need to run these models, they're incredibly powerful.
Yeah,
That's part of what makes Suno's tech so cutting edge.
that makes sense. But here's where things get kind of sticky. Where did Suno get all this music to train their AI? This is where all the lawsuits are coming from. The article mentions that big record labels and GEMA,
Right.
that's a German music rights group.
Yeah, like ASCAP or BMI here.
Right. They're all really mad because they say that Suno used music that was copyrighted
Yeah.
without asking for permission.
Yeah, that's the big issue here. Imagine you're a musician who's just starting out.
Right.
You've worked so hard to create your own sound, and then all of a sudden there are thousands of AI songs that sound just like you.
Yeah.
What can you do about that? That's what a lot of musicians are trying to figure out.
And it's not just about individual artists. It challenges the whole idea of intellectual property.
Who owns the rights to music that's made by AI?
Yeah.
Is it the person who made the AI? The person who gave it instructions?
Right.
Or the original artists?
Right. That's a huge question.
Yeah, and this is where Amazon comes into the picture.
Yeah.
They're putting Suno into their new Alexa Plus system.
Right.
On the surface, it sounds pretty cool. You can ask Alexa Plus to make you a personalized song
Yeah.
whenever you want.
Right on demand.
But when you think about all the ethical stuff we just talked about,
Yeah.
it gets a lot more complicated.
It really does.
Yeah, because Amazon being involved in this makes things a lot more intense.
For sure.
They're a huge company,
Mhm.
and the choices they make have a big impact on everyone.
Exactly.
And the article also mentions that they've invested in Anthropic, another AI company that's facing similar lawsuits.
Right. And that's
It makes you wonder, are they just ignoring all these ethical problems because they're so focused on winning the AI race?
it really does raise questions about Amazon's commitment to doing AI ethically. Are they putting profits ahead of artists' rights? Or do they think that this AI music will lead to something new where everyone benefits?
Right.
I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
And talking about Amazon's AI stuff,
Mm-hmm.
this partnership with Suno is also affecting their products.
Right.
We talked a little bit about Alexa Plus before,
Yeah.
but the article goes into more detail about what it can do. Like it can make you personalized recommendations for music.
Yeah.
It can help you buy concert tickets. It
Yeah.
can even control your smart home.
Really? That's incredible.
So is this just a cool new gadget, or is this a sign that we're going to be interacting with technology in a whole new way?
Well, if we look at the bigger picture of what's happening with AI,
Yeah.
it's pretty clear that we're moving towards a future where AI is everywhere.
Mm.
And Alexa Plus is a great example of that. It
Mm.
tries to figure out what you need, it picks things for you, it even creates stuff for you.
Wow.
But it's not just about convenience, this deep level of connection between us and AI. It brings up some serious concerns about privacy and control.
That's right.
What kind of information are they collecting? How are they using it? And who's really benefiting from it?
So it's like we have this amazing technology that can make music in a snap,
Yeah.
but it comes with all these legal and ethical questions.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's a really interesting time.
Yeah.
As AI keeps getting smarter, we really need to ask ourselves some hard questions.
Yeah.
Who owns the music that AI makes?
Uh-huh.
Where do we draw the line between innovation and protecting artists' rights?
Right.
And maybe most importantly, what do we want AI to do in our creative lives?
Yeah.
Do we want it to be a tool that helps us work together and be inspired? Or are we headed toward a world where algorithms are more creative than humans?
That's a good question.
This is a conversation that we all need to be a part of.
For sure.
It's a really important one.
Yeah. All right. Welcome back, everyone. We're diving deep today, get this, into YouTube's most viewed videos.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we're looking at the top 10, right, as of March 1st, 2025.
Okay.
So we can really see what's capturing the attention of just, well, billions of people, really.
Well, yes. Yeah.
It's crazy. Our source material is this, it's called the VIP guide video.
Right.
And it breaks the whole list down. And I think you're going to find some of these trends really fascinating.
I bet.
To kick things off, I mean, have you ever just stopped to think about the sheer scale of these numbers? We're talking billions of views.
Yeah.
Billions. For some of these videos, it's just mind-blowing.
It really is. And you know what's really interesting when you look at the top 10,
Yeah.
it's dominated by children's content.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, you've got Baby Shark Dance, of course, Wheels on the Bus, Johnny Yes Papa, they're all right up there in the top 10.
Huh. That's interesting. I got to admit, I've definitely caught myself humming Baby Shark more times than I'd like to admit. I think we all have.
But why though? Why is this kind of content like so popular? I mean, is it just that there are more kids with access to YouTube these days?
Well, yeah, that's definitely a factor, but I think it goes deeper than that.
Okay.
I mean, think about it. YouTube has become like this essential part of so many families' lives now.
Right, right.
You know, it's where they go for entertainment, education,
Uh-huh.
even just to keep the kids occupied, like you said,
Yeah.
and Baby Shark in particular.
Uh-huh.
It just taps into something, I don't know, almost primal,
Yeah.
like that melody, so repetitive, the visuals, very simple. It's like a perfectly engineered earworm.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
And there's actually science behind why these kinds of tunes get stuck in our heads.
Really?
Oh, yeah. They trigger our brain's reward system, which makes them, incredibly addictive.
Wow, that's fascinating.
Even if they are, well, aimed at toddlers.
Right.
Exactly.
So it's not just like cute kid stuff.
There's a whole, scientific reason.
Whole science to it.
Wow. But YouTube's reach, I mean, it obviously goes way beyond just toddlers.
Oh, absolutely.
We're also seeing, these global music phenomena like Despacito
Right.
and Gangnam Style, which are still killing it in the top 10, even years after they were released.
Exactly. Years later, they're still up there. It's amazing, isn't it?
It's incredible.
It just shows you the power of music and dance to really connect people across any cultural boundaries.
Right.
And YouTube, it's like this accelerant, it allows these trends to just spread like wildfire.
That's a good way to put it.
Think about the network effect, right? Someone shares a catchy song with their friends, those friends share it with their networks, and so on and so on.
Yeah, yeah.
And it creates this snowball effect that can really propel a song to global, superstardom.
That's a great point.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's not just about catchiness, right? Some videos get massively popular because they tap into really powerful emotions.
Oh, absolutely.
Like See You Again,
Right?
which was featured in the Fast and Furious franchise,
Yeah.
became a huge anthem for, dealing with loss and remembrance.
It did. It really did. Music videos, they can be these incredibly powerful tools for expressing and processing emotions. And see you again, it resonated with millions of people who had experienced, similar feelings of grief and loss.
Yeah.
And it provided comfort and a sense of connection through that shared
It's
experience.
really true.
It became a cultural touchstone for dealing with those really difficult emotions.
It's amazing how a music video can like transcend its entertainment value and become something so much more meaningful for so many people.
It really is.
But going back to the overall list, I think it's really cool to see this mix of like Western pop hits, Shape of You, Uptown Funk,
Yeah.
alongside these international sensations like Gangnam Style and Despacito.
Absolutely. It really highlights how YouTube has become this global melting pot of culture. It allows artists from all corners of the world to reach this massive audience and share their music, their dance moves, their stories.
Yeah.
It's really a testament to the platform's power to break down geographical barriers and foster like genuine cultural exchange.
I mean, it is pretty mind-blowing to think about the diversity of content that finds a home on YouTube
Oh yeah.
and how these top 10 videos, each in their own way, capture the attention of, well, billions of people worldwide.
Billion. It's incredible.
From, the catchy tunes for kids to the emotionally resonant anthems and global dance crazes.
Yeah.
This list really paints a fascinating picture of YouTube's impact and reach.
It really does. The next time you're clicking on a YouTube video, maybe take a moment to consider, why did this grab my attention?
Yeah?
What does my viewing history say about me and the world around me? That's something to think about, isn't it?
It really is. Food for thought. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
Anytime.
And we'll see you next time
See you then.
for another fascinating exploration of, well, whatever pops up on the internet.
Sounds good.
Until then, keep exploring.
I...
Okay, so you're ready to really dive into AI.
Sounds like it.
That's awesome.
Ugh.
It's a smart move, honestly. AI is it's the thing right now.
It really is.
Yeah. So, and it's changing just everything,
Everything.
how we work, how we think, how we learn.
Absolutely.
So we've got your stack of articles here
Yep.
about all the AI programs and all the subjects that go into it.
Right.
And we're going to help you navigate all of it.
That's the plan.
So think of this as like your guide
Mm,
to the most exciting learning paths in AI.
exactly. We've got some great articles here. Looks like you've been doing your research.
You have.
Yeah, on both the hottest AI programs and the fundamental subjects behind them.
Yeah. So we'll start with the programs
Yep.
because those are a really great way to like really immerse yourself in AI,
Exactly.
whether you're a beginner or you already have some tech skills.
Mm.
So one that really caught my eye was AI for Everyone by Deep Learning
Mm.
AI.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
And it promises no coding required. Right. So that's perfect if you're like just starting out.
Absolutely.
But is it really possible like to understand AI
Yeah.
without getting into like the nitty-gritty technical stuff?
AI for Everyone does a really good job of breaking down those complex concepts
Okay.
using like real world examples that anyone can relate to.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like learning the rules of the game before you start playing.
I like that analogy.
Yeah, you get a solid understanding of the possibilities and limitations of AI without actually needing to code.
Gotcha. So, okay, so then this next one was really intriguing.
Okay.
AI in education, leveraging ChatGPT for teaching from the University of Pennsylvania.
Oh, wow.
It just seems like AI is like ready to completely revolutionize how we learn.
I think it really is.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. That program goes beyond just teaching about AI.
Right.
It dives into how tools like ChatGPT can be used to personalize learning,
Oh,
give instant feedback,
okay.
and even help teachers create more engaging lessons. So you see how AI can actually empower both the students
Right.
and the educators.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, so now on to something a little bit more technical.
Okay.
Generative AI for software development, also from deep learning. AI.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, honestly, this one kind of blew my mind.
Interesting.
AI that can help you write better code and brainstorm app ideas.
I know.
That's like next level.
It is exciting,
Yeah.
but I think it's really important to remember that these generative AI tools
Right.
for software development, they're still in like their early stages.
Right.
They can definitely be super powerful for things like code optimization,
Yeah.
suggesting creative solutions, but they're not going to replace human developers entirely,
Right.
at least not anytime soon.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not yet.
Okay, so we've seen some amazing programs.
We have.
Now let's zoom in on like the core concepts
Yes.
that make all of this AI magic possible,
Right.
like the foundation, if you
A
will.
foundation.
And we'll start with the big one. Machine learning. This
Yeah.
is the thing that is behind like everything
Yeah, it really is.
from Netflix recommendations to self-driving cars.
Absolutely.
But it's such a broad field. Like, where do you even begin
Yeah, that's true.
to learn about it?
Well, you can think about machine learning as having different like flavors,
Okay.
each with its own specific approach. So you got like supervised learning,
Okay.
which is kind of like having a teacher guiding you.
Right.
And then there's unsupervised learning, which is more about, finding those hidden patterns
Interesting.
on your own.
Okay.
And then you've got reinforcement learning, where AI learns through trial and error,
Uh-huh.
kind of like when you're training a pet.
Oh.
So each type of machine learning is used for different tasks.
Right.
And understanding them really helps you grasp that bigger picture.
Okay. That's a really helpful way to break it down.
Yeah.
Okay, next up, natural language processing,
Okay.
or NLP. This is the tech behind all the chatbots and translation apps, and even like analyzing social media sentiment. It's like teaching computers to understand and speak our language, right?
Exactly. NLP is all about bridging that gap between human language
Right.
and computer code.
Yeah.
So think of it this way. NLP allows computers to read a sentence, not just as like a string of letters,
Right.
but as a collection of words with meaning and context.
Okay.
And this unlocks so many incredible possibilities,
Yeah.
from summarizing those complex documents
Right.
to creating more natural sounding virtual assistants.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can't forget about generative AI,
Oh, of course not.
like the rock star of the AI world right now.
It really is.
This is AI that can create art, write poetry, compose music.
I know, it's amazing.
It just seems like the possibilities are kind of endless.
Yeah, generative AI is definitely pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Yeah.
What's really interesting is how all these different forms of generative AI are emerging.
Oh, like what?
So you've got things like text-to-image generation,
Right.
where you can type in a description and AI will create a visual representation of that.
Right.
And then you've got AI music composition, where algorithms can create original melodies and harmonies.
That's so cool.
The sheer variety of creative applications is mind-boggling.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, so after this deep dive, what should our listeners be thinking about?
Yeah, good question.
Like, where should they go from here?
I think the real question is, what excites you most about AI?
Right.
Think about, what problems you want to solve,
Mm,
what creative endeavors you want to explore, and then let that guide you as you dive deeper
yeah,
into those specific programs or subject areas.
exactly. This deep dive was just the beginning.
The beginning.
Like, we've given you the roadmap,
Yeah.
but now it's up to you to
Exactly.
choose your own adventure
Choose your
in this
adventure.
exciting world of AI.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, good luck.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye. See ya.
All right, so have you seen all this stuff about AI lately? It's like
Oh, yeah.
every single day,
Every day.
there's some crazy new breakthrough, and now YouTube is getting in on the action. They're releasing
Right.
some pretty awesome AI tools for creators, especially for YouTube Shorts. So
Especially for shorts.
we're going to take a deep dive into these tools. How do they work? And what does this mean for the future of video? What do you think?
I think this is fascinating, and I think we're only just seeing the tip of the iceberg here.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so first up, we have this new tool called Dream Screen. Basically,
Green screen.
it's like having your own little film crew right there on your phone. You
Wow.
literally type what you want to see, and the AI just builds it for you. I mean, like characters,
Ah.
scenery, like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And this isn't just pictures either.
Hmm.
We're talking like little video clips,
Right.
full-on videos.
Yeah. It's crazy how easy they've made it. Now, anyone can create custom
Oh,
backgrounds,
yeah.
little video clips. And you don't have to leave the YouTube Shorts app. You don't need to buy Final Cut Pro.
Exactly.
Don't have to go to film school.
None of that.
It's right there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what is the magic behind all of this? Well, it's Google's new VO2 model. And this is
VO2.
the thing that's really, really cool. VO2 can make videos that look
Mm-hmm.
super realistic. And it's not just like the look of it, it's
Mm.
also like the physics, the movements of like people in the
Yeah,
videos.
the movements are mech
And they've
drawn.
even given creators different styles
That's
of
right.
effects they can mess with.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
This is what I find fascinating is that, like, it levels the playing field. Not everyone has a Hollywood budget for their YouTube shorts. Not
Exactly.
everyone can hire, like, a professional animator to make, like, a 15-second video.
Right.
But now, with Dream Screen and VO2,
Yeah.
someone can be sitting there, making videos in their bedroom, and they can make something that looks so
Yeah.
really professional. I think this is a game changer for people like independent filmmakers,
Oh, totally. Oh,
educators.
yeah, especially educators.
I mean, just think about it.
Like if they,
Imagine if you could
yeah,
do a historical reenactment for a history
that
class.
would be so cool.
Yeah. Or if you're a small business and you want to make a really slick demo for your product.
Yes.
You don't have to hire a production crew. You
Yeah,
can just
do it yourself.
type in what you want.
Boom.
There you go.
I remember what kind of new content
Right.
this will lead to. Like things we haven't even thought of
It,
yet.
I know, it's so
This
exciting.
could be so crazy.
Yeah, and speaking of new things, so YouTube is starting with
Okay.
rolling this out in the US, Canada, Australia, New Zealand,
Right.
but I guarantee you this is going to be everywhere soon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Start small, figure out the bugs, and then
Exactly.
yeah, go big. But okay, how about this?
Yeah.
How will people know if a video is real
Hmm.
or if it's AI generated?
That is the question. How do we
Yeah.
know if what we're looking at is actually real?
Right.
So YouTube is doing a few things. First of all, they're going to have clear labeling.
Right. Correct.
So it'll say, AI generated content.
Right.
But more than that,
Right.
they're going to use something called synthed watermarks.
Synthetic.
So basically, these watermarks are embedded in the pixels of the video.
Oh wow.
So you can't see it,
Oh.
but a computer can.
Oh, that's so cool.
So even if you download a video
Right.
and you try to re-upload it somewhere else and pass it off as your own,
Yes.
that synthed is still there,
That's so smart.
saying this is AI generated.
Oh, that's cool.
So, I mean, they're doing these things, but I think we need to have like
Right.
a real discussion about AI and video creation.
No,
This is a powerful tool.
it is.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad.
Mhm.
So
This is definitely more than just like, oh, cool new features.
yes.
It's like, how do we
How
navigate
do we navigate this? And
this whole new world?
what are the ethics of AI?
Exactly.
Yeah.
How do we make sure it's used responsibly?
Yeah, how do we make sure it's being used responsibly?
So where does that leave us? It seems like AI generated video is here
Oh, it's here.
to stay.
It may.
It's not going anywhere, and it's only going to get better.
Absolutely. And I think this is going to change how we watch videos.
Yes.
It's going to change how we make videos.
Totally.
And it kind of makes you wonder, like, if anyone can make a professional looking video,
Right.
just by typing a few words into their phone,
Yeah.
what makes human creativity special?
Right.
What will separate the humans from the AI?
Yes.
And how do we make sure our voices, our perspective,
Our own creativity.
shine through
Yeah.
in this new world of AI? Something to think about.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Very interesting. All right. Well, that was a fascinating deep dive
Yeah.
into AI generated video. Thank you so much for joining me.
It was fun. Thank you. All right, let's kick off another deep dive. Today, we're taking a look at YouTube music and its incredible rise. It's not just growing, it's exploding. They're adding like 2 million new subscribers every month and just recently hit a major milestone, 125 million paid users. That kind of growth, it really makes you wonder, how are they doing this? What's their secret sauce?
Well, the most obvious thing is, of course, their massive music library, right?
Right.
But it's not just about how much music they have. It's the kind of content. You won't find this stuff on other platforms. I'm talking live concert recordings, remixes, even fan-made covers and mashups. It's all there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, as someone who loves finding new artists and just exploring different versions of songs, that's a huge deal.
Absolutely.
But it's not just about the music library, is it? There's something about the way YouTube Music blends video and audio that feels, I don't know, very natural, especially for younger listeners who, basically grew up on YouTube.
Exactly. I mean, that seamless
Yeah.
transition, right? You're watching your music video, and then boom, you're just listening to the audio track. It's huge.
Yeah.
But it goes even deeper than just convenience,
Mhm.
Remember, YouTube's algorithm, it's legendary for a reason. It knows what you like based on, well, your entire viewing history, not just your music. And now that same algorithm is powering YouTube Music's recommendations. You get these personalized playlists like My Super Mix that evolve as your tastes do.
My Super Mix. I've heard about it, but I never really understood how it worked.
Sure.
So how does the algorithm use my viewing history to personalize my music?
Okay, so My Super Mix, it basically takes everything the algorithm knows about you. Your favorite artists, the genres you tend to watch, even what time of day you're most likely to listen. And it creates this dynamic playlist that's constantly updated with new tracks and artists you might enjoy.
Oh, wow.
It's like, having a personal DJ who knows your taste better than you do.
Mm.
And if you're into discovering new music, it's a fantastic tool.
That's incredible. It sounds like YouTube Music is really using that algorithm to its advantage. But
Good.
what about the artists themselves? How's this platform changing the game for musicians, especially those just starting out?
Well, it's incredibly empowering for independent artists. YouTube Music, it gives them this global platform to reach new fans, build a following without needing a record label or any of those traditional channels. It's democratizing the music industry in a way we haven't seen before.
Yeah, I love that. It's breaking down those barriers. But, you know, got to talk business for a second.
Sure.
Those YouTube Music free trials, that seems like a brilliant way to hook new users.
Oh, yeah.
Has it been working?
Oh, for sure. Free trials are definitely a part of their aggressive growth strategy, I'd say.
Yeah.
But it's more than just giving things away for free, right? They're forming partnerships, running targeted ads. It's a long game to win market share. And their financials show it's working. They brought in $1.1 billion in revenue just in February 2024 alone.
Wow, that's impressive. So it's clear YouTube Music is a major player in this world of music streaming. But how do they stack up against the competition? Let's start by comparing them with Spotify. They both offer these huge music libraries, similar pricing, so what are the differences that someone like me might care about?
Well, Spotify, they're known for their music discovery features, especially Discover Weekly. It's that personalized playlist updates every Monday with new music based on your listening habits.
Mm.
They also excel at like multi-device listening with Connect. You can seamlessly switch between devices, which is cool. And then for audiophiles, Spotify offers higher bike rates, so a richer listening experience there.
Okay, those are some strong points for Spotify, gotta admit. But YouTube Music, they have that video edge, right? Like I can be listening to a song and boom, I want to see the music video, watch a live performance, something Spotify can't do. And since YouTube Music's recommendations are based on all my YouTube watching, not just music, they could be, I don't know, even more insightful, right?
That's a great point. YouTube Music's integration of video, it's a major difference, especially for visual listeners, those who want more than just audio. And you're right, their recommendations, powered by all that YouTube history, can be incredibly on point. They can surface these unexpected connections and introduce you to artists and genres you might never have found otherwise.
It's really interesting how Spotify focuses on personalizing based on listening, while YouTube Music takes this more holistic view, right? All your viewing preferences. It makes you wonder which approach is actually more effective.
It really comes down to the listener, right? Someone who primarily uses Spotify for music discovery might find Discover Weekly more relevant, while someone who's already on YouTube a lot might be blown away by, the depth and accuracy of YouTube Music's recommendations.
It's all about personal preference and how you use the platform. Okay, so let's turn to Apple Music. They brag about lossless audio, which is a huge draw for audiophiles, and their integration with Apple devices is seamless. What does YouTube Music have to compete with that?
Well, Apple Music might have the edge in audio quality and that device integration, but YouTube Music has its own cool features. For example, collaborative playlists, which are great for parties or sharing music with friends. And you can upload your own music library to YouTube Music, which Apple Music doesn't allow.
Mhm.
That could be a big deal for someone with a huge collection of music, stuff they've ripped from CDs or bought from other platforms.
Yeah, I can see how that would matter to people who've built up their own collections over the years. But what about curation? How does YouTube Music compare to Apple Music in that area? I mean, Apple Music is known for its expertly curated playlists and live radio stations. Is YouTube Music even trying to catch up?
Well, Apple Music definitely has a strong reputation for that human touch, playlists made by real music experts. But YouTube Music is evolving. They have this thing called user profile radio, where you can create radio stations based on your taste and share them. It's a community-driven approach to curation, kind of leveraging the knowledge of music lovers. And of course, you can't forget about YouTube's algorithm. It can analyze tons of data points to create playlists for, specific moods, activities, even the time of day.
Okay, so it sounds like YouTube Music is blending algorithmic curation with community input to create a more personalized and engaging experience. This is getting really interesting. It seems like they're not content with being just another music streaming service. They're constantly pushing boundaries and innovating, and video is always at the heart of it. So, what are some of the things on the horizon? What are the exciting possibilities for YouTube Music?
One area generating buzz is the potential for them to move into podcasts and audiobooks.
Oh, really?
They already have the infrastructure, the audience, so it's,
Mm.
the natural progression.
Oh, wow. That would be fantastic. Imagine switching between your favorite music, podcasts, audiobooks, all in one place. That would be like a dream come true for someone like me who loves to learn and be entertained.
Exactly. It's about creating this complete entertainment experience where music, spoken word content, video, it all comes together. And YouTube Music, with all its resources and, that innovative spirit, they're in a great position to lead the way.
I'm starting to see YouTube Music not just as a music app, but as like a platform for discovery and learning, not just entertainment. It's a fascinating way to think about how we consume content. But, with so much content, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. So, how can YouTube Music help us navigate this massive amount of stuff?
Well, that's where curation becomes so important. YouTube Music have to find that balance between algorithmic recommendations and human curation. They have to use the algorithm to personalize, surface content that fits your taste, but also rely on experts to create playlists and guide you to those hidden gems you might miss otherwise.
It's like having a personal guide in this massive world of music and spoken word content. That's reassuring, especially in a world where we're constantly bombarded with information. But ultimately, it's up to us as listeners to be active in our own discovery, right?
Absolutely. We have to be open to exploring new artists, genres, formats. We need to be curious and step outside our comfort zones.
Mm.
And we have to engage with the content, listen carefully, reflect, and share our discoveries with others.
I love that perspective. It's about embracing the evolution of music and being active in shaping the future of how we experience it, how we
Hmm.
consume content. This has been a really insightful conversation. But before we move on, I'm curious, what challenges do you think YouTube music faces in this rapidly changing world?
Well, one of the biggest challenges for them is audio quality.
Hmm.
While they have made improvements to their streaming quality, they're still behind competitors like Spotify and Apple Music, especially when it comes to lossless audio. So for, audiophiles, those who want the best sound, that could be
Right.
a deal breaker.
Yeah, that's a good point. Audio quality is essential for people who really appreciate the details of music. Are there any other areas where YouTube music needs to improve to really compete?
Another area is the user interface. While their app works, it can be clunky and a bit overwhelming, especially compared to, say, the sleek interfaces of Spotify or Apple Music. Simplifying the navigation, making search better, creating a more visually appealing and user-friendly experience, those things would go a long way in attracting and keeping users happy.
Yeah, that makes sense. A clean interface can make a big difference. Are there any other challenges you see coming up for YouTube music?
One of the toughest challenges for any streaming service is balancing the needs of listeners with the needs of the music industry. YouTube Music needs to make money to survive, which means ads or paid subscriptions, right? But too many ads can be annoying, and high subscription fees can make the service too expensive. Finding that right balance is crucial.
It's a tricky balancing act for sure, and it's something all these streaming services are dealing with. They want to build a good business while keeping users happy. So, how do you think YouTube music can handle these challenges and continue to do well in this competitive market?
I think they need to focus on what they do best. That massive and diverse music library, the way they blend video and audio so well, and their amazing recommendation algorithm, they have to keep innovating, try new things, and push the boundaries of what's possible in music streaming.
So, it's about staying ahead of the curve and always evolving to keep up with what listeners want. And it sounds like YouTube music is up for the challenge.
Absolutely. They have the resources, the people, and the vision to become a real leader in the music streaming world. It'll be exciting to see how it all plays out.
I couldn't agree more. This has been a fantastic start to our deep dive into YouTube music. We've talked about so much, their incredible growth, their innovative features, the challenges they face, and what the future might hold for them. But there's so much more to explore. When we come back, we'll dig even deeper into the world of music streaming and see how YouTube music is shaping the future of how we experience music. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into YouTube music. Before we left off, we were talking about some of the challenges YouTube Music might face, even with all their growth and fancy features. One thing that came up was audio quality, especially for those audiophiles out there who really want that